performance doing this show before she pops this baby out. Please put your hands together for Yemima!
Thank you so much for having me here in this beautiful, beautiful club, but also just generally here in this beautiful, beautiful country. I know I have a confusing look. People are not sure where I'm from. I look like some kind of an educated Italian, disappointing Latina, just a discount Sarah Silverman. I know. But guys, I'm actually from Jerusalem. You heard about it? Y'all just fans of war? Right. I used to work at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. I'm an academic. I know. I've got the body for it. But my real dream is to be a comedian. I want to be some kind of a Jewish Amy Schumer. Sometimes people in America tell me she's actually Jewish. Which is, yes, in America, yes. But not in Jerusalem, where God pays attention, okay? Not over there. So we have some Jews here. Wow. So enthusiastic to acknowledge that in public. So guys, I'm also Jewish, but for real, not like the white Jews you've got. In what universe does Jared, Christian, and I share ethnicity? We barely share a species. And I am from Israel. It's the Jewish part of Palestine. Ay, 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 ay. If you're not laughing, you're watching Fox News. Worst. But I am happy that most of you find the Israeli-Palestinian conflict amusing because, you know, as Americans, you are paying for it. And you should. You should support Israel. Because if there is no more Israel, there will be so much more Jews in America. It is already too hard to get into college. If you want to be a doctor, you need a strong Israel in the Middle East to keep us there. So my husband and I, we came to this country 3 years ago to steal American jobs. So much easier to do it from here. And we moved from Jerusalem to Philadelphia, so I said, honey, we have to live in West Philly because I cannot sleep at night without hearing gunshots and sirens. just not working out. I'm sure you can see that my husband and I, we both have PhDs. Oh, you clap for that! Yeah! We have worked hard so we can be poor. We did that. My husband is a theoretical physicist. Any theoretical physicists here tonight? No, you're just sad. That's fine, that's fine. I am so happy you all had friends in high school. Great. But it turned out really okay for my husband. I mean, we do have an amazing relationship right now. And I think that's because I don't really care about physical appearance. And he doesn't understand verbal abuse. This is his favorite joke. And that is sad. That is sad. That's true. So you see, I am an immigrant, and I understand that as an immigrant, I am responsible a little bit to some of the unemployment that you have here. But let me tell you, I was surprised to find out just how many people in rural Pennsylvania actually wanted my job teaching Introduction to Society in Jerusalem at the University of Maryland. Wow! I have completely revised my view of coal miners. And by the way, coal miners, you think your industry is going nowhere? Try the humanities. I didn't hear your president talk about all the steps he's going to take to revive the humanities industry. Preach it. So, you don't like your president? I sort of assumed that because I mentioned him and you didn't all enthusiastically applaud it. Which I'm very surprised to hear is still legal. great. You're still upset because Trump won the elections? Yes, well, in Hebrew we say, stop whining. Or maybe a more accurate translation will be, stop whining, you bitches! And I will tell you why. Because this is still America, okay? And that's better than not America. And I know, because I used to live there. You don't need a different president, you need a different perspective. Like, everyone here ever been between jobs, for example? Yes, guys, I am a lot worse. I am between visas. I have a job. What I lack is the legal ability to enjoy it. I don't know if you guys ever tried to make an Ivy League university pay you with an Amazon gift card. They don't like it. But they do it. That's because they think I'm a refugee. Because technically, I told them that. They don't like it very much. I just want to clarify that this was a joke. This is comedy, not a documentary, yes? And I actually do have all the necessary visas to be working here. And if you think that an illegal immigrant will just be standing here and openly tell you about it, then you don't know anything about what it means to be an immigrant, and I'm so happy for you. I just want to be like you guys. I just want to be a real boy. That's all I want. Speaking about little boys, I don't know if you guys can see over there in the back, but I am 8 months gorgeous. Ladies, if you also want to have this sick body, keep on drinking. Now don't give me this face, I'm trying to help you. You see, I'm done. I'm already made a person that when I'm old, is going to disappoint me. It's the Jewish tradition. Being pregnant is great. It's an amazing experience. I mean, how often do you get to be the second most important person in your own body? You know, if I'm in an accident, I am the second human the doctor will immediately attend to. How great is that? But it's also, to be honest, it's also a confusing experience. To be pregnant is confusing, especially for a virgin. Guys, I am from Jerusalem. One time, in my town, there was a girl, she said the same thing and millions believed her. Probably half of you. Great. Fine, no judgment here. So I'm really happy to be doing this process alongside with my husband, especially, you know, he's paying for it. I was not ready for this whole medical copay system that you have here in America. We don't really have medical copays in Israel, just, you know, it's just war. But I am happy that I'm doing this process with my husband. What I don't like is to hear him say things like, we are pregnant. Excuse me. Don't you boast in my achievements. You don't hear me say that we are a theoretical physicist. And I remember your contribution. Was very small. So sorry. You couldn't be here tonight. I am so sorry. I love him in a way that will kill him someday. Probably. So, but being pregnant is great. I strongly recommend that. Being pregnant is great because everyone is nice to me. Everyone here lives around Baltimore and 50, something like that? No? You all have nice lives? Oh, in Lotto say yes, okay. So I was just walking around these hoods, this is the word, and people just stop their car, you know, I'm just walking down the street, people stop their car and they'll be like, hey baby! Congratulations! It's like catcalling without any of the creepy vibes. Everyone offers me help all the time. It's like, when you're visibly pregnant, you get to experience humanity as if no one was an asshole. Which is great. I think it's because humanity is literally recognizing that you're taking one for the team. It's great, it's just great. When you're this pregnant, you can go into a shop, take a bottle of water from the shelf, drink it, go outside without pain, and the shopkeeper will be chasing down after you saying, hey you! Congratulations! Yeah, and when you're 9 months pregnant, you can do the same thing in Chinatown. It's that good. Everyone is on board. Even the creepiest guy you can imagine. Now, I'm not pointing at you, sir. This is just your general direction, Bill. And the only reason I chose you, honey, is because you look like a normal guy. Just like all the serial killers. So even the creepiest guy you can imagine. He sees this and he thinks, huh, this is nice. It can be my second wife in there. Maybe I should respect this stop sign. Too much? Or too soon? I think too soon, that's a more accurate one. But I love being pregnant, especially this pregnant, because I can already feel the fetus moving. So baby. I know this is America, I understand that. Here you believe that this is already a baby from the first magical time that a man and a woman think about having coffee together. So you can see already that the baby is moving and it's great. And I think we have established a traditional baby-mother Jewish relationship. Yeah, like he doesn't call. And I already pretend that doesn't break my heart at all. Even though you're technically living 2 inches from it. No, that's fine. So I realize that this little one is going to hate me a little bit one day. Because this is the Jewish tradition. But still, I can't wait. I can't wait for him to be, be born and be here and go to school and go to college and date a girl who looks exactly like me. Just can't wait for that. It's going to be great. It's hard to believe sometimes that I have a perfectly formed baby boy right here. From the other side of my skin. No, don't clap, that's fine. You're right, it wasn't hard, I just had to lie there, you're right. Perfectly formed baby born right here, right now. You know what that means? It means that I have a dick in me. This little, unimpressive dick just constantly moving inside me in a non-sexual manner, which is exactly how I found myself in this position. Exactly. That's the recipe. So I love being pregnant. I love being pregnant, I do it all the time. I was just pregnant 1.5 years ago, and as a result of that, I have another baby. Yes, she's a 1.5 years baby girl, her name is Tamar, or in English, Tamar, hey Mar, hey Mar, hey Mar. This is how you all sound like all the time. Tamar, hey Mar. American accent, that's basically speaking like a normal person, while smiling like a crazy person. That your entire culture is one big customer service. The whole thing. So my baby's name is Tamar. Don't pretend you know what Tamar is. You don't know anything about other people's cultures. But that's fine. You will in the future, right after we take over. You have no idea how easy and fast it is to master a second language when you have no other choice. If Pornhub was in Yiddish, you'd all be fucking fluent. So my daughter Tamar, she was born here in Philadelphia, in the hospital, Pennsylvania Hospital. You guys know this hospital? Yeah. Did you guys know that having a baby there costs $42,000? $42,000. Yes, I don't have a joke here. I just want more people to know that. I think it's important. And I strongly believe that no matter what you think about this political issue of healthcare, I think you can all agree. $42,000, there is a problem here.
Yes, yes.
No baby is worth that much. For $42,000, they should have given me like 3 babies. Or the premium one, which they did not. But that's okay, because I'm never going to tell her that. That's fine. So my daughter Tamar, you know, she's not premium, but she's okay. Very expensive, but okay. But she's so cute. She's so cute. She's so cute. She has these cute, you know, little eyes, and these cute little cheeks, and this cute little American passport! Yeah! Oh, fuck yeah! Fuck my PhD! This is my greatest achievement. And I am proud to have American babies. I can't wait for them to be ashamed of my foreign accent. Who's gonna make America great again? Who's gonna make America great? Oh man, you realize that these immigrants, they're just the worst. You better close these borders, and you better build that wall before my mother-in-law comes here. Man, she is the worst thing about the Middle East. And don't ISIS me, okay? You don't know terror. Ay, ay, ay. It's terrible. You know, some people, they plan their pregnancies according to their career or the seasons. That's, you know, that's smart. Me, I plan my pregnancies according to my visa expiration date. That's smart! You realize that not all the countries are doing that. Just giving away citizenship like some kind of a participation trophy for newborns. No, it's just you and Canada, and they're not really a country, so it's just you. Yeah, don't you? Most people don't know this. Like, for example, if you're born in Italy, you're not Italian. If you're born in, I don't know, the UK, you're not British. If you're born in Germany, you're not happy. Very simple. And obviously, yes, if you're born in Israel, you are not Israeli. Just ask all of the Palestinians. That was a very Israeli laugh. I can recognize this laugh for my nightmares. I know you ladies. Not personally, but I know you. Yes, so I was very excited to get the American passport for my daughter Tamar. We went to the post office because apparently that's a federal building, like the White House. Very confusing. The lady was very nice, and she said, "Okay, so in 3 weeks you guys get the passport, and then you guys can go abroad." And I was like, "Dude, we are abroad." And besides, we didn't want this passport so we can go away. Oh man, we wanted it so we would never go away. I think you guys are using your passport wrong. That's the moral message here. You know, many people, including me, are using the phrase, the term, anchor baby. And that's wrong and very misleading. babies make the worst anchors. And not just because they scream when you throw them into the water. Not just because but because according to your laws, which by the way could be changed, I'm just saying. According to your laws, my daughter Tamar, she can give me green card, get this, in 20 years. In 20 years. Guys, this is not a good plan. In 20 years, I expect her already to give me grandchildren. Because I want a very big family, and there is no way I'm going to do all the work myself. So I'm going to send her to the worst school in West Philly, making sure she'll be a teen mom. This is how much I love my family. Exactly. So I'm not actually going to do all this big family thing myself. I only want 2 children, which is great because I've calculated that. I have 1 and almost a second, like this is going great for me. I only want 2 children. And you know what that means? I'm done. Anyone else here in this table is done? Yeah. Oh yeah. You know it. I never have to go through this again. I never have to have sex again. Ever. Graduated from fucking. How many people can say that? With a smile. I think maybe I can just, cancel the notification for this unnecessary, moist monthly activity. No need for that anymore. So you can just tell my man if you see him. Sure, and happy to hear. But I think maybe my approach to sex is because I got very religious, orthodox upbringing, like education. And here in America, I hear my lady friends say crazy things that I cannot imagine about sex. Like sometimes I hear they say things like, I like to have sex every day. Or I like to have sex with 2 men. Or in order to come, I don't even have to think about my dad. Oh, it's like really. I think this is the cultural gap between us. This is why I don't exactly understand. But I like being pregnant and I like being a mom. But I also like being a woman. And back when I was in Jerusalem, I was very active in women's organizations, like women's rights organizations, and we used to support women's rights, also women's rights to choose over their body, and we used to support abortions, or as we call them in Hebrew, solutions. This is for that time you accidentally have sex with a guy who is not a doctor. Even in Israel, I used to be a fan. I used to support abortion. But I have to be honest, guys. Now it feels different. I think to myself, wow, I can never have an abortion now. I can't afford it in America. You see, in Israel, abortions are almost free because the government is subsidizing them. Because the Jewish God doesn't care about that. Yeah, he wants to know what you have in your sandwich over there. Is that pork? That's important, but when does life begin? That's on you. That's totally on you. Guys, we don't really care about that. We never even bothered calling it different names like Planned Parenthood or whatever. We just call it abortion clinic, as in, I don't know, the abortion clinic is over there between that high school and that synagogue. Very simple. I just want to point out my favorite thing about the whole thing is that, the Israeli government is basically subsidizing abortions using that universal healthcare thing. You should totally try it. It's great. It's free. I mean, you can just try it. It's free. Anyways, the Israeli government is subsidizing abortions, and then evangelical Christians in America are subsidizing and supporting the Israeli government. So I guess there is a God. and he likes irony. And I love him too for that. Now I'm very sorry to disappoint 2 of you. You seem very disappointed. But God is a man. Yes. And I know that because only a man can screw up so big, for so long and still be in charge. That was a woman. She would have been replaced, I'm gonna guess, in the Middle Ages. That would have been the end of it. So I'm gonna share this personal and true story with you guys. When I still lived in Jerusalem, I was on my way to have an abortion because I cannot resist free stuff. The Jewish tradition. And I already had the appointment when suddenly I felt a familiar sensation of a drizzle. You know, drizzling down my drizzle. And I realized that my problem is over. And life can go on. I mean, my life can go on. Yes. In Hebrew, it's so much funnier. So I don't know if having a miscarriage on your way to get an abortion is technically a miracle or not. But just to get on the safe side, you know. Thank you, Jesus. I love Jesus. I love Jesus because I love all Jewish people. But my family, they're not such great fans of him. I think that's because they are religious Orthodox Jews. Have you guys ever seen Orthodox Jews? Yeah. Yeah, so you've all been to New York. That's great, that's great. So my parents are what they call modern Orthodox, which means that they are not Amish, they're Mennonites. Now there's nothing wrong with being a Mennonite if you want to be one. But my parents, they don't believe in people's right to choose their own way of life. And that's their belief system, so I guess I have to respect that. Although it doesn't sound fair. Anyway, because of their belief, they sent me to this very conservative, religious, all-girls school, which is just like Catholic school, only no one is good-looking. No, even in Japan, you will not find a man who thinks that my school uniform were sexy. Britney Spears will never film a video wearing what I used to call a skirt at the time. Never. So it was a very posh school, but very conservative. So for example, they taught us art. And the entire history of art, living outside anything that had anything to do with nudity, Christianity, or Jesus. So that's basically Cubism, and you're done. You get an A, and you get an A, and you get an A+. It's that easy. So every morning, because it was a religious school, every morning we would start the morning with the morning prayer, which is Birkot HaShachar. You guys know what that means, or I just want to root out the ones that are Israelis and the ones that are just tan. I want to see what's going on. Let's see who is Jewish and who is lying. Birkot HaShachar. Birkot HaShachar is the morning prayer. It's basically just a list of things given to you that you have to thank God every morning. Like the trivial things, like the most basic things. Thank you for opening my eyes. Thank you for allowing me to walk. Thank you for allowing me to talk. And then you have two versions. A man says, thank you for not making me a woman. No, that's basic. And a woman says, thank you for making me according to your wishes. Which is just the most passive-aggressive way of saying, oh, fuck you! Me? No, I'm not mad. Why should I be mad? Well, I'm not mad. Why should I be mad that you have made me this inferior partner in the tradition that you are obviously the head of? No, I'm not mad. I'm just so thankful! You made me according to your wishes. You know, if you ever wondered what is the cultural origin of the very strong passive-aggressive voice every Jewish mom has, it's all in the prayers. It's all down there. So should I share another story from my high school? It's too dark. Yeah, let's go for that. Anyone else has been to a religious school here? Yeah. Yeah. Did you say Jesus? You weren't paying attention. It's a completely different thing. So this was a very, very conservative school, and I'm very liberal, but no one cared about that. And sometimes I wonder, did they have some effect on me? Because I did spend a lot of years there, and I think they did. I remember particularly one of my teachers, she used to say, girls, you should be very careful, those of you who are going to the university, especially the Haifa University, I have no idea why, you should be very, very careful when a man asks you out, because the Muslims look just like us. And I remember thinking, wow, this is terrible. You are a terrible person. And I don't want to be like you. So you see, I guess they did have an effect on me, because they made me a better person, because I'm trying very hard not to be like them. They really showed me the difference between right and wrong, in the sense that everything they showed me is wrong. Thank you for making me according to your wishes. Not that bad. Not that bad. I love your country, guys. Because you don't have these crazy religious people here. You have other, different, crazy religious people. But I don't have to feel guilty about that. So that's very liberating. You know, my father is actually from this country. Okay, he's not exactly from this country. Like, he's from New York. That's right. Almost. But he left America when he was 18 in an outburst of Zionism that just miraculously coincided with the Vietnam War. It's a miracle. It's just a miracle. You can't explain that. You know, it was very hard for me to find a lot of respect to my dad when I realized that he wanted to get away from war. So he moved to Jerusalem, when he, by the way, and this is true, was immediately drafted into the Israeli military. Because that's what happened when you were 18. So my dad came to Israel and he decided to stay forever. Because my mother was very beautiful. Yes, it's hard to believe, right? She was. And once he married her, he wanted to be a real Israeli. He didn't want to be an immigrant, which I totally get now. He wanted the real thing. He wanted an Israeli family. So he didn't pass any of the American traditions. For example, we never celebrated Thanksgiving. He never taught us how to buy expensive stuff and not use them again. He never showed me how to say, let's meet for lunch, and then never speak to that person ever in your life, ever. And maybe the most important thing, he never spoke Hebrew with us. Which is why this terrible accent. That's what he always wanted. And I respect my dad, and I remember him every time I misspell something embarrassing on Facebook. Thank you for making me according to your wishes. Thank you. Yeah, so my dad, and by the way, I recently told him, I think you got what you wanted. You wanted an Israeli family? You have one. The most Israeli thing ever. My brother lives in Berlin and I live in Philadelphia. Trying to fucking get out of there. That is the most Israeli thing ever. You made it. You succeeded. So my dad is from America. My grandmother is from the Netherlands. She's from Holland. She was a Holocaust survivor. Anyone here also is a Holocaust survivor? She was rescued by an amazing lady. Her name was Toffen Menk. And am I using the right English word here, rescued? Yeah. Because I know you're also using this word to describe adopting a dog. I don't want you to get this thing confused. This is not the same thing. So my grandmother was a Dutch citizen, my mother was a Dutch citizen, and I recently acquired a Dutch citizenship. Yes, thank you. I sort of figured this could be an achievement not just in the Middle East. Yes, but to be honest, the reason why I chose to become a Dutch citizen is because with a Dutch passport, it is so much easier to immigrate to America. And I realized that acquiring a passport of one country just to immigrate to another one, that's a little bit like dating a girl because her friends are hot. This is what we call in the Jewish tradition a dick move. Say, it's kosher, but you are a terrible person. So I'm Dutch, and I live... I am a Pennsylvania Dutch. If you think there's something wrong with that, you're a racist. We all are. We all are. To some extent, we all are. So some people think that the reason for my weird name, Yemima, that's my Dutch heritage. But that's actually not a good explanation, I wish. It's just because of the Bible. That's the reason. I'm sure Americans here don't understand, but the Israelis know. Yemima is a very embarrassing name. Yemima is the Israeli equivalent of Broomhilda. You know it's a name, but you also know there is no excuse for this. Yemima is the name of an elderly aunt in a children's book from the 19th century, in which the plot is set in the 15th century. It's the only explanation to that, but that's not even the worst part. You see, the problem with my name is that many Americans, for example, all of you, you don't know how to pronounce my name, and instead of calling me Yemima, you all call me Yemina, which unfortunately means in Hebrew, taking a right-hand turn. Now this is especially concerning when Jewish Americans call me Yemina, right after they tell me they're fluent in Hebrew. Let's just say that this, yes, here the Jews of America, yes, you are not fluent in Hebrew. Stop trying to do us, you do you. You're embarrassing all of us. Like two things you can do, that's Hebrew and manual labor. Just stop trying. Stop trying. So an American friend of mine, she was very nice, and she was trying to help me. She said, okay, Yemina. Yes, it's Yemima. Yes. That's what I said. If we Americans, we can't pronounce your name, why don't you just use the original version of your name? You know, in English. Yemima. Excuse me. The original is Yemima. And the translation is Yemima. Because the Bible was there before maple syrup. It's not a competition. But we are definitely winning. And I'm also comfortable introducing myself as Yemima. You know, I live in West Philly, but I'm not from West Philly. And even worse, introducing myself as Jemima Cohen. How will racist people know why they hate me? Gotta help them. No, but seriously, you have to help them. Very difficult problem, very serious problem. So an American, this American friend was trying to help me. She wasn't very successful. So I always say to my American friends and colleagues, but mostly colleagues because I don't have any friends. If you are not familiar with the combination of the syllables Yemima, why don't you try pronouncing it like this? Dr. Cohen. I think everyone in America have heard this combination before. You see, Jewish Americans? That's what you're good at. Keep on doing you. So yeah, you're so good at just, you know, everything that happens next to a desk. So good. So I was 3 generations between us, and I feel so better than you. I don't even know why. So I What was I saying about my name? I love your country, guys. And I like the fact that I can come here and criticize whomever I want, including very powerful people, like your president, or even Jewish Americans. And this is my right. These are my rights, like the First Amendment rights, which is great. I love your Constitution, guys. The fact that I love the Constitution doesn't make me crazy about guns. I just like them, that's all. I think that's because I got my first gun when I was 18, when I joined the military. Anyone here also joined the military? All right. When I say join, did I mean drafted, yes? There's a difference between joining the army and being drafted. It's a little bit like the difference between going on a date and being raped. So I was drafted. I don't know about you guys. Thank you for your service. Thank you. But it turned out, this whole military experience turned out so much better than I thought. I mean, who could have known that giving guns to teenagers would end up being so fucking awesome? There was no way of knowing that. There was simply no way of knowing that. But ever since I came to this country, I sort of thought, I got the feeling that Americans have very strong opinions about the Israeli military. And that's justified. I mean, you should. I mean, you should be informed consumers. You are paid for it. So I want to use your stereotypes now to sort of, you just get along with my show. But this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to say the Israeli military is, and you are just going to shout the first word you mostly associate with the Israeli military. I mean, don't be mean, but you know, be mean. So let's try it. Let's see if you are willing to act as if you didn't get good education. Okay? Let's try this. The Israeli military is
strong. Awesome.
Strong. Awesome. You like the Israeli military so much, you live in Philadelphia. Great. That's what kind of a Zionist I am. Also. So strong. And we have awesome. What else do we have? The Israeli military is
Badass.
badass. What was that?
Attractive.
Oh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We'll get to that. So guys, I always got the impression that Americans think that the Israeli military is this strong body of attractive men, which is just absurd because this is an army of Jews. Have you seen Jews? Guys, the Israeli military is fucking lame. I know because I dated half of it. I'm not a slut, I am a patriot. Thank you. The Israeli military is an army of Jews, guys. That's very scary from a completely different point of view. Like even the strongest, ruthless Israeli soldier we have is basically Woody Allen with a machine gun. My husband has a front-line position in the Israeli military. My husband, who looks like a teddy bear who ate too much physics. He is, for real, he is a veteran of 4 campaigns. The Second Lebanon War, the last Gaza conflict, the previous Gaza conflict, and our relationship. And I think you all know which one left him the most shell-shocked. The nightmares will never go away. An army of Jews, guys, that's a very scary thought. It's just a collective of armed, traumatized individuals. An army of Jews is basically like that kid who used to be beaten up in elementary school, and bullied in middle school, and beaten up in high school, but now he's all grown up, and he has nuclear weapons. Good luck, everyone. You'll need it. Oh, thank you so much for allowing this, America. Thank you for making us according to your wishes. I hope you live to tell the tale. Or at least some of us. So not a lot of people know, but the Israeli military actually works, mainly operates on reserve. which basically means that when we have real conflict, they recruit people via normal phone call. Anyone here ever got this actual phone call? I always ask that just to see if we have some suckers in the room. So we have one. All right. 2 here. Well, you're safe now. You're safe now, I think. So this is how it works. It's for real. You get a phone call from a blocked number. By the way, it happened to me and my husband twice during the time we were together. You get a phone call from a blocked number, and it says, "Hello, if you are Aheroney, please press 1 and identify yourself." And you're like, "Oh, that's nice, 1. Soldier, this is an emergency recruitment. Report immediately to your station. You've just been recruited." And that's it. You just got stung by your own government. Now I ask you this, guys. What kind of a person presses 1 twice? Isn't that the same kind of a person who will also write back to all these Nigerian princesses? That's why he still doesn't have his own email account. Can't allow that. Can't allow that. So it happened to us twice during our relationship that my husband actually had to put the uniform on, and he had to go to war. And in case you're wondering, no, it didn't make him look hotter. No, it's not magic. Just uniform. And that was cool. It wasn't such a long ride for him. I mean, it was a very short bus ride. Because in Israel we do things differently than in America. We only go to war with stuff that we can see from our window. I mean, we only conquer countries that we are going to use later. But I know here it's different because you are currently bombing stuff that most of you can't recognize on the map. And I'm pretty sure you don't know what a Yemen is, but you are still paying to fight it. Or maybe not. I mean, there's certainly no way of knowing. But I respect that this is just a different, you just have a different model in America. It's just a different way for your loved ones to die. It's just a different way. So if you didn't like this, it's going to be even darker. You know this recruitment phone call that I told you about? They actually have a very high percentage of people showing up. 110% people actually show up. And that's because some people, they didn't even get the call, but they heard from their buddies that they were being recruited, so they just joined. And I told my husband told me that he understands that, and he respects that. And now that we live in Philadelphia, if he will hear from his buddies that they got the phone call, he will go on a plane, and he will join them. And I told him that I understand that. And I respect that. And I have no idea where your passport is. I certainly didn't put it in the shredder. So there is no reason to look for it whatsoever. Let's segue from this depressing topic of the possibility of my current husband dying in a war in the Middle East. And let's talk about something everyone can get behind, like the heritage of slavery in America. That's what we call in show business a crowd pleaser. I love your country, guys. I think I sort of mentioned that. I love America, and I love traveling in America. Just recently I had my first opportunity to go to Virginia. I visited both parts, the east and the north. And it was my first time. It was my first time down there at the wrong side of history. I was very excited. I'm very confused. I was there for a wedding. It was my first American wedding. And I was very confused. I didn't know what to wear. Apparently, not white. I paid a lot of money for my wedding dress. I have good reason to believe I'm going to be reusing that. Apparently not. But I was also very confused because the wedding took place at Monticello. You guys know what that is? Yeah. Oh wow, I had to Google that. And man, I didn't realize you can have a wedding at a labor camp. Google that, you should. And I told my friend that. She was very defensive because she's like, you know, the bride or whatever. And she was like, oh, Yemima, it's Yemima. You were talking about the homo or third president. I was like, dude, you want to tell me he knew about that? You're not helping yourself. I just want to clarify that the moral of this joke here is that slavery is bad. And I hope you appreciate how much I had to research to come up with this joke because I don't know anything about your history. We don't really call it history when we learn such recent events in the Middle East. So in order to come up with this joke, I actually had to Google, did American presidents own slaves? And they did. And not just the current one, yes? Also all the cool presidents from the beginning. And like apparently everyone knows this. But still you name things after them? It's very weird, it's very confusing. I was very confused with this whole concept of civil war that you have here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand war. I am from Israel. And I even understand civil war because I am from Israel. And Jews hate each other. You feel me? Exactly. But I am confused by the concept of having a civil war to protect the Union. Guys, that's just an abusive relationship. That's like beating someone up for romance. It's like the North is saying to the South, I'm going to burn everything from Atlanta to the sea. And then you love me. One nation, under God, forever. You're never going to leave me. And they're never going to leave you. I hope you're happy. I hope you are. But I heard that some people in America, the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis, I think you call it here Trump supporters. I think they were very upset because someone wanted to take down all the monuments to slavery in the South. And they were so upset they were marching in Charlottesville. Personally, I wasn't very, I didn't care that the Nazis are marching. I mean, of all the Nazi-related activity, marching! Marching! That's your Nazi stuff! Bring it on! The original Nazis would have done only that. I could have lived with that. Like, literally. So I didn't care about the Nazis marching. But I was strongly influenced when I heard what they were chanting. They were saying, Jews will not replace us. Right. Exactly what I said. My husband and I are not here to replace you. Because we have PhDs. We are not going to live in the South. And this little one is not going to take their jobs. Maybe he's going to be reviewing their mortgage application. It's the Jewish tradition. I can say that because it's true. So I love your country, and I don't care about all these white supremacists. I don't care. I love America. What I don't like is hearing my American friends complain about their American lives and about the holidays and whatever. Guys, your complaints are my ambitions. Like, all I want is for my ladies to come home from college acting like little bitches. Not appreciating any of the good stuff that they have here. Let me tell you, that's going to be the best Thanksgiving ever. Like, my dream is for my baby girl Tamar to come home from college and say something like this. Oh my God, so, this is American accent, yeah? Oh my God, so everyone in college asks me where I'm from, and I'm like, hello, I'm from Philadelphia. And besides, you know, my mom, she used to be this very famous comedian before she killed herself. Like, that's all I want. That's my dream, basically. I love your country. How do you say in English? God bless America. And that just makes me jealous. Why can't he bless the Middle East? Isn't that where he came from? Excuse me! Jerusalem made you! You know, even LeBron James, he had the decency at some point, you know, to come back home, make it all good again. And yes, I understand that this joke used to be so much better like 4 years ago. Totally understand that. Oh, I love your country, guys. So if you like my comedy, don't follow me on Twitter. Write to your congressman. And anyway, thank you so much. I'll see you in the Armageddon.